We've got machines on the Digitakt, new fun ways to play around with tempo, time stretching, and we're gonna get right into it. I have a couple of different samples that I'm working with here. And let's start from the start. In order to get into the different machines, you're just gonna hold the function and hit source. One shot is the standard Digitakt engine that you're familiar with. WERP is the kind of closest thing to standard time stretching out of the new machines, and we'll explore that. Repitch focuses on changing the pitch and length of the sample to fit the tempo of the project in an automated fashion. And then Slice is a good old-fashioned slice grid, not unlike the one that is on the Octatrack. So let's start there. Let's start with Slice. First, let's listen to the actual sample we're playing around with. Just some chords that I played on the Korg mini log that I also have some sample rate reduction in the second filter page on, which is another new item in this feature, which is super cool. You can route it so it is pre or post filter. Let's stick with pre. Anyways, so that is the sample. Let us go to the slice grid. So using this is really intuitive. The grid knob shows how many slices you want to slice the grid into, so you can see this is our waveform and here are the slices. Length is going to determine how many slices play back with each trig, and then slice is going to determine which slice out of the grid is played. And those two controls are especially useful when you're parameter locking trigs. The magic of the slice grid happens when you hit the yes button on this source page and you can create linear or random locks. So linear locks will basically organize the grid sequentially through these locks, and random locks will randomly select slices for the trigs you have put down. So let's clear the locks and turn our decay down. Let's make some random locks. So every time you do this, it re-randomizes the locks. A really fun thing to do is put a delay on this. You can also play these back chromatically by entering chromatic mode. And then cycling up and down through the octaves depending on how many slices you have. Let's explore another sample with the new machine. We're going to use a vocal sample from the Baths Splice sample pack here. Heavenly. And I'm going to clear this out. So our one shot, again, just sounds like this. It's not tempo synced. The tempo of this beat is 87.6, and I believe the sample is 120 BPM. But let's go to Repitch. And what this machine is going to do is recontextualize the pitch of the sample the same way that the tune control would in the default Digitakt machine, which is the one-shot mode. So you can hear rhythmically it fits, and where Alvin and the Chipmunks sing. So let's go a little bit slower. Let's bring it down to 60 for the length, and you'll hear that the pitch will change. It doesn't work perfectly all of the time with samples that are a little more freeform, but let's go to 30. Because, you know, the full value is 120, so we can slow it down even more by using fractions of that. So there we go, we're perfectly matched to the tempo using this repitch machine. You can also change the amount of bars. And the sample cut off there because we're using fewer bars to cycle through the sample. So when it ends, it ends. Something that's really cool to do is plug in some rhythms here. Let's get kind of random with where we're laying our trigs down. And I'm going to decrease the amplitude. And something really interesting that happens is you get this weird sort of pitch modulation that happens with these samples. It's very subtle. But I think what's happening here is the Digitakt is kind of adjusting things on the fly. The Digitakt is sort of adjusting things on the fly to try to get that tempo in place, and it's kind of breaking it a little bit by having to make all of these micro adjustments, so you hear that. And finally, let's explore WERP, which is a great name, by the way. Let's go back to our original synth sample, and I will place down a single trig at the start of the pattern and extend this. Some drums for context. So it might be easier to see if we slow it down a little bit. So we're going to use these settings and watch this go through the waveform. So it's sort of scanning through. To adhere to the tempo that we've set. And we can change that to play those slices in reverse as it sequentially proceeds through them. Or loop through the slices as they end. Decrease the amount of bars. I like these really slow settings. And if we change the setting of the amplitude envelope, you'll see it fades out because we only have one trig set up. But we can still use the delay control to get a nice full sound in the stereo field by having that cross delay on. Super fun. Let's repitch this one too. And for some reason, when you go to the slice grid and put down random locks, and then go back to the repitch, that's when it seems to get confused with the pitch. It's so interesting how it doesn't quite catch up with the tempo. But it doesn't bother me because, clearly I'm not looking to match amen breaks or break beats or anything like that. I'm using this tool experimentally, which I think is one of the beautiful parts about its existence. Time stretching is a super cool tool to get unique and fun sounds, and you can parameter lock all of this stuff too. So go to town, play around, have fun. Yeah, super exciting that we have this new update.